Hello, and how are you? Welcome to this other session where we are going to focus on communication again, but we're going to look at strategies for healthcare workers. And if you're new here, this is a YouTube channel that focuses on lessons, lectures, and expert interviews pertaining to healthcare. My name is Winnie Bara. If you are a returning subscriber or a returning student that did not subscribe, please do so. So in this series of female genital mutilation, what we are famously calling FGM, is a partnership program that we are doing to sensitize the community on ending FGM, and it's in partnership with the University of Nairobi, the Girl Generation, and ACAF. And the ACAF here stands for Africa Coordinating Center for Abandonment of FGM. So please be with me all the way to the end. So we've looked at communication in different angles. We introduced it in summary, and then we looked at the two models that we did. That is the BCC, that is behavior change communication, and then we looked at SBCC, that is social behavior change communication. Now, we need to embrace this as healthcare workers and see how best can we communicate FGM to our clients or to the community that we are serving. So in this class, we're just going to give the key focus in this lesson on how as healthcare workers ourselves can work alongside with our communities to communicate FGM. So what strategies can we use to effectively do so? So we shall go like one in one to just harness and explain step by step the different approaches we can use. So on our title, we just have how does a healthcare provider effectively communicate with the target group on FGM in the communities. So number one, we are advised that to identify and understand the target person. The group that you're working with, be it young people, are they adults or elderly people, what is the type of population that you are working with? So number one, prioritize by starting to identify and understand the target person. So in this case, what is their age group? Which language do they understand best? What is their level of education? And what is their socioeconomic backgrounds? Then we have to go further. That is number two, is have an understanding of the practice of FGM in the target community. Like, what is it that they do? What is in their minds when they are practicing FGM? Could you maybe ask in brief and or do an assessment to just catch up on them on what they mean when they're doing these particular different types of FGM? So you could start by, let's say, asking the reason for the practice, the age of cutting, the different types that they are performing, the FGM associated complications that have been able to report and how do they manage them. And then do the girls experience any form of consequences if they don't undergo this FGM? So you want to just move step by step with the community or the target group that you're working with so that you have a good understanding of their thinking, a good understanding of their attitude, their belief, and what drive them to do this FGM. So identify and understand the target population through their age, their language, their level of education, their backgrounds. Then secondly, understand why they practice the FGM. What are their reasons? What ages do they admit for cutting? What are the types that they perform? Are there any complications they have reported? And what consequences do the girls undergo or the women undergo in case they don't partake of the FGM? So after the background check and understanding the target audience, the third thing to do is to fully understand that the information you intend to rely and prepare the material in advance. So in this case, you've understood the target audience, you've asked about their background, you've understood why they practice the FGM that they practice. So now synthesize that information and then prepare the material in advance. Prepare what you wish to communicate, put it in a manner that will be very simple and in a language that makes it easy for them to understand you. Avoid the medical jargon. Like, this is not the level where you want to mention everything as you know from the medical angle, but you want it to be as simple and possible. Use even the local language that they themselves are used to it. Then select an appropriate means of communication for the target group. So you can choose which method of communication works. So if you're going to a very rural community where possibly exposure is still minimal, or modern means of communication are not much implemented there, you can look at the different ways of handling them. Do you wish to use a focus group discussion? Do you want to have a one-on-one or face-to-face discussion with individuals? Do you want to use broadcast media like television and radio? Do you want to go with print media? Are you going to use social media? Will you use storytelling, drama, or song? So you want to select a channel of communication that will effectively reach this given population. So select that one that works and embrace that so that the message is home. Then number 5 is to contact relevant people to help you organize the meeting. So once you've selected the channel of communication that works, and we need to understand that the people that we are targeting with this messaging of FGM, majority of them are not developed people, they're not exposed per se, and so you want to choose something that works for them. So most of the time, either you find yourself working with focus group discussion, or you have community dialogues and sit downs where you just discuss the topics together with them, either in a common hall or town halls or just in the village setups. So in this case, having selected that, it means you need a mobilizer, or you need community mobilizers who can just organize this meeting for you. So contact relevant people to organize meetings with influential people in case you're dealing with very local leadership levels, or if you're having high level dialogues or high level meetings, then you may also look for influencers or people who can help you get this population into one place. So get these people in place and then advise them on how to mobilize the people. So that's one channel to do. But then number 6, here we have brought all these people together. You've already prepared your communication channels, you have your materials ready, and you're set up for the meeting. So the real assignment now is, how do I talk to them so that they understand what I'm communicating? So number 1, it's supposed now to be, how do you communicate? What is your communication abilities? So present clear and appropriate information. That is the most critical part. And remember, in our first class on communication, we said make sure that you apply the principles of communication, and that is the 7 C's. Be concise, be clear, like make sure that you harness from those 7 C's. So first, you want to communicate your message as a healthcare worker. Please assess what the audience knows about FGM. If you have like a pre-test or a pre-evaluation form, you can implement that. You can give it to them, they can fill, so that you can see what is their current level of communication, what is their, not really communication, but what is their current level of knowledge when it comes to FGM. What do they understand about FGM as at now, before you teach them or before you create that awareness for them. So assess your audience on that. Then secondly, having seen what they know and how far or what experiences they have had about FGM, the second bit is for now to make a decision on what information you wish to convey. So having understood their level of understanding, the second bit for you is to like now say, okay, this is how they know, this is the much they haven't heard about FGM. Then while I'm presenting my work, I will approach it in this and this and this manner, so that you don't either bombard them with too much, or you don't withhold the information that they could have received. Then the third bit is, do not give too much information in one session, as this may be confusing. So while you're teaching them, please make sure that you give this information in bits, one key message at a time, so that they can digest it before they take in more information. Then introduce the subject and objectives of the discussion. Use simple terms, be audible, and be clear in your speech. Remember, in some setups, they've already done this FGM for so many years, and it's like a culture to them. And because the target is to promote behavior change, is to help them understand the negative side of it and to adopt healthy behaviors, you want to make this sessions very simple. You want them to hear it clearly, and you want your speech to be very specific, to just target the key areas that they need to know. Then use a language that is acceptable by the community. I understand in some setups where you feel that the community is practicing very harmful practices, you may want to be conductive, to be condemning, or you want to be vindictive. You don't need to practice such at that moment. Remember, our key target is the community to embrace the message, to see that the positivity of embracing that change is going to bring more impactful change for them health-wise, and that you want to use a language that is respectful, a language that embraces them as part of the population, and so you want them to feel accepted. So use a language that is acceptable and respectful. And when you're referring to the terminologies of FGM, use terminologies that are acceptable locally. You may go there with medical jargon, yes, but they may not understand what you're saying. So use a language that will give you a buy-in, use a language that will make it more relatable, and they can accept that, well, we maybe have been practicing this and it's not progressive or it's not beneficial to us, and so you want them to buy your idea, you want them to buy your message, your keynote, and the next step you want to work on with them is the action plan and what to do against FGM. Then provide appropriate supporting material, what they can use to enhance understanding in form of pictures, in form of posters, because please believe me, not that it's not always everybody is literate in this society. So you could be using all these slides or all these presentations, but they may not understand you because not everybody is learned, not everybody understands the language you're speaking. So use pictures if you can, use posters if you can, have illustrative materials if you can produce some for them to just understand what you're saying. If they can't understand maybe the language of communication, or if the terminologies you're saying are a little bit too advanced, so try to simplify it and use as many models of communication as possible so that they can understand and simplify the message to their own levels. And so having clearly communicated the message, the not really like the last bit, but the following steps is to confirm that the audience has understood your message. Like ask questions. What have you understood from this class? What have we discussed? What else can we do to make it more simple for you? So engage your audience, let them ask relevant questions, let them explore that discussion in as many ways as possible. So encourage the audience to ask questions and to clearly stipulate what they want to know. And then for you as the healthcare worker in this case is address those questions clearly. Then number 9, provide reading materials like the leaflets, the posters, the pictures. Let them have this material so that they can read further, and where they felt they had not understood, make it clear to them that they can reach out to you. They can come back again for further clarification from your end. So don't make them feel like they can't ask you questions. No, allow them to feel that they can ask as many questions as they wish. Then number 10, let the participants know where they can find more information if they wish. So this is where we are now emphasizing. Give them more details to read on. Give them reference spaces where they can read further or they can ask questions. Avail your contact if they need to ask questions directly from you. So provide reading materials. Allow them to know where they can find more information in case they're interested. Then number 11 is provide an opportunity for those with personal questions or require counseling to do so privately if they wish to. And so don't close your contacts, don't close your access just because you've already finished training them or you've already finished allowing them to hear from you. So provide a channel of access even post the training or post the networking that you've done. Then number 12 is build trusting relationship. What do we mean by that? While you're engaging them or while you're engaging the community, make sure that our communication channels are open, but also our engagement is accommodative. In the essence that they can trust you to come for further clarification if they need. They can trust you with even with their personal stories, even with their personal experiences, and set up collaborative activities. So if you feel after the training you wish to work with them again on a collaborative setup, you can do that. You can welcome them for further discussions on that. So set up collaborative activities that can harness engagement and further discussions with them. So that's how you can effectively do it. We've generated like 13 steps for this, but you can modify it to fit how best you want to engage as a person. So have it in a more simple way or the best way that can help you communicate FGM to the target groups that you're working with. So this brings us to the end of our class regarding um, the communication strategies that a healthcare worker can do when you want to communicate about FGM. So like again, we ask you to like our work, leave a comment, like which part do you like most? Was it clear? Do you wish us to clarify more on certain aspects? Feel free to do that. Then when it comes to sharing, just copy the link, click on the arrow here that you see on the horizontal display of the icons. Just click, it will give you the link, and then you can post whether in your WhatsApp group, in your websites, in your social media platforms and handles, and you will help us share these channels to as many people as possible. And as a listener, please subscribe and click on this bell so that when you post a class, you get to be the first person to be notified. So thank you guys for being with us all the way to the end and up to here. Again, my name is Winnie Barawa, and see you in our next lessons. Bye bye.